Hello, everybody. I have to tell you, I had to do this twice because the first time I forgot to make it public. So here I am hoping that somebody's going to show up. We will wait and see. Just want to check on. Hi, I see that a couple of you have made it in. Hi there. Okay, I just need to have the first two. Okay, just wanted to get the other phone set up and ready. Because I promised you that today I was going to read you my story, that little bit of the story that I did, that I was working on with the group when I went to the writers' meeting. And that was definitely a wonderful experience. I don't know if any of you have continued or started with the meditation, the Deepak Chopra uh, meditation. I did. I actually, unfortunately, fell asleep twice on one of the meditations, so I'm going to have to go back and do it again. But I do find them so enormously helpful in centering me when things are going a little bit tough. You know, it's funny when you're feeling as if life is very stressful and you're just not sure what to do next and what road to take, and things are as clear as mud, as they say, sometimes you need to hear something that puts a little perspective on the whole thing. As many of you know, I've been going through some rough times, and just trying to get my equilibrium sometimes is not easy. But I had seen Bella's video about the woman on YouTube, and I had seen it once before. This other YouTuber who in the beauty community, who also, I just wanted to get it where I could see it. Um, she was apparently recently diagnosed with a brain tumor, and it's really sad. And when you're feeling as if things are not going right and you get into that place of, I need to make it better, or why am I here, or what's going on, it brings you up short when you realize the things that we go through, if they're not life threatening, we can change them. If they're life threatening, then maybe not. But everything else is solvable. Everything else can be changed. So I had watched her video once before, her final video, as she said, her name is Samantha Jail, I think it is, I'm not sure. And she had said it was going to be her last one, but she has done another one apparently, in which she talks about living with and dealing with brain cancer. So I wanted to share that with you in case any of you has not seen it and any of you want to take a look at it and maybe give her a little encouragement. There certainly was some wonderful, wonderful comments on the last video. Here we go again. I don't know what is wrong with my phone. It was showing there were 8 or 10 people in here. Now it's showing me that there's one. I don't know if there is in fact one or if it just appears that way. So once again, if you're doing the meditation, I would recommend that you continue doing it because it's great at keeping you very centered. Also wanted to mention, I saw something in the news, I think it was yesterday or the day before, where apparently it is henceforth going to be a felony for anybody who, oh, hi, Sheila, for anybody who mistreats, any animal cruelty. At long last, it will be a felony. Yay. Somebody has got to protect those poor animals who suffer at the hands of some pretty terrible, terrible people. I know people suffer at the hands of people too, but I'm so happy to have seen this, and I just pray that it goes through quickly and it does become law, because my Lord, I know what I would like to do to the people who harm, well, who harm anybody or anything out of sheer cruelty. I think it's a terrible thing. I know. Yeah. It's the law in Illinois. Yeah. I'm so happy to see that. It's been way too long that people get a slap on the wrist, if that. And, the animals, it's such horrific things that happen. So I am very, very happy to hear that. I am going to, if you're okay with it, I'm going to read you my story to get us started, and then we can talk about other things. And anything that you're in the mood to talk about, please let me know, because it's again going to be a little bit shorter tonight than I typically would do. I've been working extremely hard on the house, and I'm tired. I mean, I'm really tired. I I worked on, I have this piece of furniture that I have to get rid of, number one, because whatever's happening with the house, I have to get rid of this furniture. And there it is, sitting, it's a bathroom sink that's sitting in my kitchen, which is bizarre to begin with, but it's been there for a very long time. Because in my infinite wisdom, I had decided at one point that it would be really smart for me to pick up this bathroom sink, which was on sale. And it was a beautiful piece of furniture because I was going to redo the bathroom upstairs. Unfortunately, I never redid the bathroom upstairs. So there sits a bathroom sink in my kitchen, and there's absolutely nothing that I can do about it. So I emptied it out. I had stored a lot of stuff in it because it was sitting there, so I thought I might as well use the space. So I emptied that out today. And you know how it is when you take on a project and you really do get a lot done, but no, I'm not going to use it. It's got to go. It just has to go. Hi, Sandy. What? What? Um, I think we need a little clarification. So anyway, I did that today, and of course, when you work on something like that and you take stuff out, you have stuff everywhere. So I had stuff. Ben, oh hi, you did make it, son of a gun. So as I say, I did get that done, and I want to list it on the local marketplace and hope that somebody will buy it, to get it out of my kitchen and to get it out of my house, and keep moving on to the other stuff. Okay, I'm going to, let me get to that story so I can read it to you. And I was supposed to meet Bella. Unfortunately, it didn't work out because it's a long story. We were supposed to meet for lunch, and originally I was going to pick them up. They were staying in Brooklyn, and they were going to take the train back from town, but it didn't work out because I was not able to go into Brooklyn, and I asked if they would be able to come out to the station and I would pick them up, or if I could meet them someplace halfway between where they were and where I was. And unfortunately, it just couldn't be worked out. So I was really sad not to be able to do it. But I think timing for me has been a little bit difficult because I'm kind of at the Brooklyn. I know. If I had known about it before they made the plans to stay in Brooklyn, although Gail, I suspect Gail may like those B&Bs, I would have had them stay at my house, or at least invited them to stay at my house, and we could have had some fun each day doing whatever it is that we would do, no matter how insignificant in the end or silly it might have been, but I think we would have had fun. But as I say, unfortunately, it didn't work out, and I was sad about that. And lots of little stuff going on here. And a friend of mine just went into the hospital, and there was all of that to deal with. You're in physical therapy 2 days a week. That's really good. The physical therapy, I am so sorry that I stopped going to the gym because it really was so helpful to me. I certainly can do the stuff here, and I'm still doing a heck of a lot better in many ways. But while I was doing that, it was enormously helpful to me, and it really made a huge difference in my progress. So I am extremely grateful for having done it. When my friend Linda needed it recently, she went to the doctor, and he said that she really had to do physical therapy for her back. Yes, I know about the falling apart. I am doing it as well. And yeah, I certainly have had my little things to deal with my groin as well, as you well know, with a good part of the surgery in that area. And a lot, it's funny. I am in pain every day of my life, but I don't even think about it because I'm so used to it. And unless it gets acute, the visiting nurse had told me in the beginning when he used to come here that the body gets used to pain. And it's only when the pain is different or acute, as I say, that you start to react to it again. And it really is true. So on days when the weather is changing, it makes a difference. A lot of people use the TENS machine. They never used it on me, so I don't have experience with it, but I know a lot of people who do. And Linda has gone for, oh, I guess maybe she might have actually have had 4 sessions so far of the physical therapy, and I know she hates to go, but I do believe it's been helping her. You bought a TENS? Oh, that's great. Hi, Marla. Yes, exactly. That's what it is. And the pain that I feel, don't put your feet in water while using one. How true. Um, it really is true because, as I say, the pain that I feel every day, I'm sure a lot of people would not be able to deal with it at all because it's nerve pain, and nerve pain is really tough to deal with. But I'm so used to it that I honestly do not even think about it. So um, yeah, so it is what it is. Okay. Are you okay with me reading the story, or do you want to talk about something else first? Exactly. You do. You get used to whatever it is. And as I say, it saps your energy. It does. And that's why the doctor had said to me originally, she really wanted me on the gabapentin always. And they gave me all those, they told me to take painkillers and all of that. And of course, I don't. I mean, if I take something, it means that it's unusually bad that day. A groin brace? I don't even know what a groin brace is, Sandy. I don't think I've ever seen one of those. Um, I had a brace on my leg, but I'm not sure. That's funny. Lauren said to Sandy, it's too bad the pain isn't further to the rear. Then you could be a pain in the ass to yourself. Or just use it for birth control. I actually had thought of that, Sandy. That, yeah, I mean, is it a groin brace or is it, oh, I'm going blank on that thing that they use, that barbaric device that they used to put on women. I'm having a senior moment. Help me out here. Um, totally blank. I know what it is. Help. Thank you, a chastity belt. Right. So is it a chastity belt? It's a hip groin sciatica belt. That's interesting. My girlfriend, Jackie, who has bad sciatica, has been going for acupuncture for several months now, and she said it has definitely made a difference for her. She, as she has said, she has been screeching in pain when she gets up sometimes, but since she's been going for the acupuncture, it really, that hasn't happened. It's still difficult for her. She still has pain, but the difference, she said, was wonderful. Oh, hi, I'm happy to see you here with us, Joyce. It's nice to see you. Um, so yeah, we all have our things that we need to deal with. Biofreeze, better than Bengay. Are we talking about Bengay, the Bengay in a tube, or the other Bengay? Biofreeze. Yeah, I've never seen that. I don't know. But I do know for me that when I have bad pain, sometimes if I use either the castor oil pack or the extra virgin coconut oil, it makes a tremendous difference. I put it on at night, leave it on all night. It lets me sleep without pain, and I'm doing much better with it. So I think it's absolutely something that's worthwhile. And I think that anything that you can do that mitigates the pain for you or allows you more mobility is a good thing. So, yeah, I was talking about this whole thing about aging and pain and all the things that we go through, and that the road is not pretty when you look at all that stuff, because the things that we took for granted, we can no longer take for granted. You know, they just, life is not always as easy. And with it all, we need to be grateful. When this friend suddenly had to go to the hospital because he was filling with fluid, heart failure. His leg had gotten swollen, and he started to feel, his chest started to feel tight. And I said, you have to go to the doctor. You really have to have it checked out. And he was thinking it was nothing. But our bodies tell us we really have to pay attention. So he went to the doctor, and the doctor sent him to the hospital. So he's been there for, I guess maybe this is the third day. He's hoping that maybe he can get home by tomorrow or the next day. So that would be good. They gave him Lasix, and they did get rid of a lot of the fluid, so that's good. You just don't want that fluid buildup. It's again just one of those things where we need more maintenance the older we get, and it just makes it tough. No, no, it's not him. No, no, he's doing fine. He's had a problem with his the cataract surgery left him with issues where he was seeing, I don't know whether to call it a halo or what, where he had to wear dark glasses at night anywhere, going to the restaurant, going to a movie. And when I say dark glasses, I mean dark. So I said, I feel like I'm out with the mafia because that's what it looks like. So I threatened the next time to put on my own sunglasses at night, so at least we would look like a matched pair. But that's, yeah. So no, everything is fine with that. Really? Oh my God, Lauren, 2 years later, they keep telling him that it's going to get better. First, he had the regular surgery, and then he had to go back recently after months. I think it's been, oh God, it's got to be at least 4 months since the original surgery. And he had to go back for laser surgery because he was just so disturbed by that glare. It's glare. That's what it is. And he was so disturbed by it that they did the laser surgery, and that didn't help right away. But I think maybe it's helping a little bit because he's complaining a little bit less. So I think, and also the doctor just gave him a prescription for glasses to wear temporarily, where they zap the particles in. I don't know. They had told him that it could have been that the lens didn't fit perfectly. I don't know. I'm not sure. I heard that that Medicare doesn't pay for the laser one, so most people get the regular one. But I don't know. His has been a nightmare to the point where if I needed it myself, I would want to think twice because I would be afraid to have that kind of a result. I know the one thing, excuse me, the one thing that a number of people have complained about. Oh, oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad, Casey. I love being on with all of you. I really do. And I miss it when I can't. He was better off without it. That's exactly what he said. Out of pocket $1,000. Yeah. Yeah, so it makes it more difficult to be sure. But I would definitely have to think a number of times. One of the complaints I hear from people who have had um, cataract surgery done, though, is that those who never needed to wear glasses for reading before suddenly did, and they found that to be a pain. I know Linda's complained about that because she said she never had a problem with seeing up close. The lens had to settle. Yeah, I don't know if it's the shape of the eyes as well. He's on his third pair of glasses. Oh, great. Yeah, the glasses that he was having made up, he was really upset about it because he's never worn glasses in his life. Yeah, and for me too. I mean, I wear glasses for distance. I used to wear my glasses almost all the time, all my waking hours, but really have not done it as much for a long time now. And I don't need it that much. I need it when I'm driving. And even when I'm driving, I feel like I don't need it as much as I did before. I still do, and I'll wear it. But it's not the same as I got older, being nearsighted, and naturally you become more farsighted as you get older. You walk around in readers. Yeah, I think, yeah, and I don't need those at all, thankfully, at least not yet. So, um, okay, so are you okay with me reading the thing to you, or any odd intestinal bug with neck aches and a backache? What's everyone's favorite mascara? What's with Linda? Linda's good. My favorite mascara, hands down, is the Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir. A second that I love almost as much is Ciate of London. In the drugstore mascaras, I like, what is that? The white one with the pink. What is the name of it? I'm not sure if it's, I don't think it's Wet and Wild. I'll check it, Casey, and I'll let you know. I don't remember, but, and of course, the Lash Paradise is still not bad. What does everybody else have to say? I don't know what you prefer. Yeah, those are the ones that I absolutely love, though. When I use the Marc Jacobs, it's one swipe, one decent swipe, and it comes out great. And I have wimpy lashes. I mean, if you take a look at my lashes, I don't know how well you can see them, but they're sort of scruffy little wimpy things. But it works well for me, so that part of it is good. I have a new moisturizer that I have to try. It was sent to me, and I'm going to do a video with that, so I'll let you know what I think of that as well. Just eyeliner. Uh, yeah, better than sex, right? Yes. Yeah, was that? You don't use mascara either? Oh, oh, that's right. You had mentioned something about that, Sandy. Yeah, no, that would certainly make you think twice. I do not use waterproof mascaras. They're absolutely impossible to take off. I just am so happy with that micellar water that I use because it just takes everything off so easily, and my face feels wonderful with it. And I feel as if my port, I'm looking a little bit, I don't know, my lighting is a little screwy tonight too, but I'm looking a little peaked, I think. But um, I think my pores are not looking as big as they did. Clinique Deep Hydration. You know, for me, in terms of my typical hydration, is the Peter Thomas Roth, and I love it. And you know, it just I I'm not one who's big on change when change is not necessary. I'm not even big on change when change is necessary. So I need to, um, I need to kind of push myself to do that. So, all right. Do you want me to read it or would you prefer that I not? Because I don't have to. It's just that the last time I was on, a couple of people had asked about it, and I said I would read it the next time. So you let me know if you want me to. If you don't, we'll go on to talk about something else. So, okay, that's one vote. Trying to cut down on products, absolutely. Okay, all right, it's not long, so I will read this thing for you. And it is a story that I had started. Oh, that's right, you weren't in on the last thing. It's a story that I wrote a while back, but I attended this writers meeting and I want to get back into my writing. So, let me see. Um, so I had said that I read it to the group, and they really liked it. This was a group of writers. There were about 19 people in the group, and it was really good. All right, the thing is called The Long Road Home, and here we go. Which one is it? Am I? You're bad. Which one is it? Myra fidgeted, shifting her weight from one leg to the other. She really didn't care. This was the last place she wanted to be. Today was not the day to try sorting it all out. What led me to this place, she asked, more of herself than any other worldly creature. Where did things go wrong? 2 short years ago, she was at the top of the world. The future looked rosy. Was there a finite moment in time when her life veered off the road onto an unknown and uncharted path? There was no time to think about that now. The one on the right, McKnight said, with no more interest than her own. The door creaked open to reveal a too dark space, dusty to be sure, and reeking of other people's sorrows. I can't do this, she thought, looking to her right for a way out. All she saw was an unkempt lawn, littered with threadbare tires, a rusty watering can, and some cast-aside, bleach-stained clothing. How much Myra couldn't believe she was even entertaining this place. Had she sunk this low? $4.50 a month. He tossed the still-lit stub of a cigarette on the ground, grinding it into the dirt. In advance. McKnight had grown used to this place. He'd happened upon it years ago, when the promise of some work and a roof over his head was more than he'd had for too many years to count. The old barn, built in the 1800s, was no showplace. The wind whistled through the spaces in the old cedar, creating a kind of music of its own. It was cold in the winter, hot in the summer, but it was, to a degree, a respite from the elements. He could always find a spot somewhere in the barn where he could stay dry when the torrential rain came. His dog Barney kept him company, and the world left him alone. That suited him just fine. Myra counted out the money 3 times before handing it over to McKnight. He proffered a grubby, calloused hand with copious dirt under his ragged fingernails. She dropped the money into his palm, making sure not to touch him. I'll need a receipt. She looked for the first time into his blue-green eyes. If it weren't for the deep, dark circles that dragged him down, looking mightily like double parentheses, and the stubble on his too thin, sun-stained face, he might have been a handsome man. Life, she suspected, hadn't been very kind to him either. Come with me. He started walking toward the barn. Reluctant to follow him any farther than the rickety front door, she waited outside till he came back, a torn piece of yellow lined paper with the words "received from" written in pencil, followed by a blank space. What's your name? He licked the pencil point and leaned the paper on his knee. Myra Short. A gap-toothed smile wrinkled McKnight's face. The irony was not lost on him. At 5'11", Myra was anything but short. She found herself smiling right along with him. I know. Strange, isn't it? In an uncharacteristically gallant move, McKnight walked Myra back to her car at the edge of the road. I'll be moving in tomorrow, and I'll be bringing the dogs. That just might make Barney real happy, McKnight said, shutting the door behind her, and Myra took off, relieved that with everything she still had transportation, at least for now. Miles of barren road stretched out before her, and Myra was getting tired. It had been a long day. Oh, who's kidding, she laughed. It's been a long 2 years. If only she'd recognized the downward spiral she was on, things might never have reached this place. If ever in her life she wanted a do-over, it was now. That is the first part of it, and then there's a short second part. Dawn painted a narrow band of pink just beyond the trees, cutting a widening wedge. Cutting a widening wedge in the dark blue of the night sky. Myra had been up for hours. This was the last night she was to spend in this house, the home she loved. Memories assailed her, creeping into her consciousness unbidden. If only she could forget. Jeff, the laughter, the love, the celebrations, the parade of dogs who came in predictable succession to fill the hole in her heart left by the passing of the ones before. They were all here, amorphous reminders of a time gone by. She clutched a photo in her hands. It was taken just the day before the shrill ring of the telephone forever altered her life. Jeff was on his way to the airport that Tuesday. He was headed for Houston to attend a conference. Rare were the days they spent apart. In the 12 years they were together, she could count on one hand the nights when she didn't feel Jeff's reassuring breath on the back of her neck as she fell effortlessly into the arms of Morpheus. Wasn't possible. She heard the words spoken by the disembodied voice at the other end of the phone, but they didn't register at first. It was a mistake. It couldn't be Jeff. After what seemed like an eternity, Myra heard a scream in the room. It came from deep in her soul, from the core of her being. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that, Sandy. In the next few weeks were a blur as people wandered in and out of her life. She was in a waking dream, a nightmare from which there was no escape. She played over and over again what she remembered of the conversation with the police officer. The taxi carrying Jeff to the airport came to a screeching halt when a bicycle appeared out of nowhere in the path of their car. An 18-wheeler traveling a little too fast descended on them like an avalanche, with screeching brakes and the smell of burning rubber. Jeff didn't have a chance. He died instantly, they said. The driver of the cab was in intensive care, his future uncertain. Myra always thought of that day as the dividing line in her life. Before was filled with promise. After was a black and white world in which she lived, separated from the rest of humanity by a bubble whose membrane she couldn't penetrate. All of a sudden, her past meant nothing now. She was a publicist with an impressive clientele in the filmmaking industry. They tried to keep her busy in the early days, filling her hours when they could with meaningless activities designed to keep her from dwelling on the inevitable. Months went by and Myra felt herself pulling away from all living things, save for her dogs, Cece and Harley. She would bury her face in their fur, tears falling in a steady stream. For their part, they were happy to be with her and seemed to feel her pain. It was hard to believe as she stood here on this last morning that more than 4 years had gone by since Jeff left her. Vestiges of him still remained, making it that much harder to leave the last place they called home. There was no choice, though. The bank was foreclosing, and they had no collective heart to hear her silent plea. Myra picked up the last of her things and headed to the car, with Cece and Harley clutched to her chest. For the very last time, she closed the door behind her and walked haltingly down the path. That's it. So that's all there is with that. Yeah, in answer to your question, Sandy, into the arms of Morpheus, when one falls asleep, it's like a dead sleep, that kind of thing. So it was fun for me to kind of pull that part of my life back into my life, and I'd like very much to make it a part of my future. I have to watch Prime Modern Love. What is that? I don't know that. Is that something on television? Speaking of which, I have to go to the movies again this weekend. Oh, thanks, Pat. Thanks a lot. Eight short. Oh, really? Oh, that sounds interesting. Oh, I definitely would love to do that. Hi, Patty. Nice to see you. Yeah, that would be great. I would love to do it. I I'm planning to I am planning to see either Harriet. What was the other thing? That's okay. Um, there was another film coming out this weekend that I wanted to see. I did tell you that last week I really enjoyed Tina Fey. Oh, okay. I definitely will check it out. Thanks a lot, Sandy. Yeah, I want to get back to this. When I sat there at the meeting with all these people who write, it was wonderful. It was a 5 hour meeting, a long, long meeting, but I didn't want it to end because it was wonderful hearing everybody's style and getting to experience all these stories told in different, different kind of voices. So it was interesting. And some of them were tough to hear because some of the stories were tough stories. I mean, they touched on abuse or um, very sensitive issues. Some of it touched on um, homosexuality, gender roles, all kinds of things. And then there were some people who wrote poetry, and that's an art in itself that I'm fascinated by. I don't think I'd have the capacity to write it, but I certainly enjoy it. So it's good. Um, yeah, I can't remember the name of the other film that I was thinking of going to see on Saturday. But I think Harriet might be a good show. Oh, there's one film. Oh, which is the one? The Al Pacino and Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci. Oh, is it really? Oh, that, yeah. Yeah, I used to read a lot. I used to read a lot. I mean, to the point where I sometimes, if I got engrossed in a book, I couldn't fall asleep, and I'd find myself 4 o'clock in the morning still reading, telling myself, put that book down. But I really have not done a lot of reading lately, and when I do, it's usually about metaphysics. So, yeah. And even when Patty had sent me the Louise Hay book, I found it hard to read at the time with everything that I was going through. But when they had the same information on an audio tape, I really enjoyed listening to it. And I know I've mentioned it before, but if anybody is ever through anything in your life that you feel you need a little help with, a little psychological help with, listen to her stuff, listen to her tapes. They are just wonderful. They really are. They made a big difference for me in those days before my surgery. And I actually think I may even put one on tonight um, before I go to sleep because she had said that it's a good thing to listen to, even if you fall asleep on it, that your subconscious still gets it. So, definitely something that I would recommend if anybody has not listened to her yet or read any of her stuff. So, it is all good. Is there anything else that you folks want to talk about today? Anything special going on? I am perpetually tired these days. Sandy says her mantra is George Clooney. Um you're 56. Is it your birthday? You are young. You are beautiful. Is it your birthday though? Oh, October 20th. Well, close. Yeah. Yeah, we each have Bella's in New York, right? Yep. Bella is in New York, and I think she heads to, is it Tennessee next? I think. I don't recall. But yeah, I'm so sorry that I had to miss them this time. They weren't spending that much time in New York, and yesterday was the only day that they had available for me. And as I say, unfortunately, I could not make the trip into Brooklyn. I just was unable to do that, and they were not able to come out here for me to pick them up. So sadly, it may have to be next time. I think Bella said she'll be back next year, so that's good. I'm very happy for her that she's getting to do this trip, that she's getting to travel. Yeah, I know. And it was in a place in Brooklyn that I don't know at all. Yeah, no, it hasn't come out yet. I intend to see Cats as soon as it comes out. I really do. I have to tell you also, there was a brochure in our office the other day for the musical Miracle on 34th Street, which is going to be playing at a theater out on Long Island in Babylon. And I really wanted to see it. I really did. And I would think at a more local theater that the prices might be a little bit better. Guess what the prices were for tickets Frozen 2? Yes. I loved Frozen. Am I crazy that I love things like that? I also loved The Lion King. A Wimbleway, a Wimbleway. There's something in me, I guess. There's a little bit of maybe Arrested Development. I'm not sure. But I love that kind of stuff. Somebody guess what you think the price of the tickets might have been. Yeah. Um, for this, not local, but it's supposed to be a very professional theater out there. I loved Yesterday. Yesterday was one of my favorite films. I absolutely loved Yesterday. Yeah, I actually saw Yesterday twice, and I loved it both times. I really did. I saw Judy twice. $25 a ticket. Um, Orchestra, below row L, $175. Behind row L, I think it was 141. Yeah, I mean, crazy, crazy. Yes, absolutely true. His voice was wonderful. Um, yeah, I couldn't believe the price of these tickets. Now, in our office, this was to see Miracle on 34th Street. Yes, yes, that was a good musical. But this, I just really wanted to see it. I think they had 20% off, but even 20% off, it's still, it's $100 something a ticket. That's craziness. I mean, those are like Broadway prices. It's nuts. So we're not going to be going to the theater, unfortunately, though I would have loved to. Um, but he keeps saying to me, "Are you tired of going to the movies? Are you getting bored? You know, is it?" And I said, "No, because we're seeing different movies all the time." Oh, yes, yes. The Kent movie theater, I remember it well. Son of a gun. Yeah. Wow. You're taking me back. Now you're making me think of Crumb's Ice Cream Parlor. And what was that big theater over on Fordham? I'm having a lot of senior moments tonight. I can't think of the. Oh my God, I'm going to sneeze. Paradise, right. The Paradise Movie Theater. Yep. Yeah, and Crumbs. I loved Crumbs. Crumbs was it was like, well, I don't know how it is in other parts of the country or world, but it was a real ice cream parlor where they had loads of different options and everything was so good. It was so good. I remember as a teenager, my mother had a friend who lived on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, And we used to go visit her, which was Jan's, right? We used to go visit her, and I have to tell you, I loved my mother dearly. My mother was a great person, and she was a wonderful mother. She was a wonderful friend. She was a wonderful everything. Everybody loved her. But she had some quirks. And one of them was she made a decision. I don't know how old I was at the time. It might have, oh, nice. One of my things apparently just arrived at the destination from Poshmark, and she gave me a 5-star rating, so that's nice. Um, what was I? Oh, my mother made a decision that she was going to go visit her friend Anna, who lived on East 74th Street. And she took me, and we went to visit this woman. The problem was, my mother hadn't seen the woman for probably 10 years, and she didn't call to make an appointment to see her. She just went. She just went and dragged me along. I was so mortified as a youngster. And I remember her friend standing there when she opened the door looking out at my mother, and clearly it was not an opportune moment. You know how when people stick their head out the little thing by the door? What is this? I must have lipstick on me or something. So she's going like this, and she said it was not a good time, so we couldn't go. So there was an ice cream parlor down the street that had the most incredible, oh, they had the most incredible way of making a sundae back in the day. They would put in, I would get a sundae always with chocolate ice cream and chocolate syrup and whipped cream and the wet walnuts and whip, I said whipped cream and a cherry on top. So they would take the chocolate syrup and pour it into the dish. And remember the glass dishes that sort of were like shaped like that? Color sprinkles. I used to like the chocolate ones the best though. But so they poured in some of the chocolate syrup, and then they would sort of tilt the glass a little bit so it went all over. And then they would put in the couple of scoops of ice cream and then put the chocolate syrup on top. So when you ate the sundae, you had chocolate syrup all the way down to the bottom. And I remember it to this day. I remember that, and I remember very thick chocolate malteds with one of those thick pretzels with the salt on it, standing up in the middle of the malted, and I would dip it, and then I would lick the malted off the salty pretzel. It was so good. It was just so good. I love that stuff. Oh my God. You know, it's so funny when I think back to my mother and that episode of going to visit. Yes, um, going to visit a friend. I know it was so bloody good that to this day I'm always afraid to be intruding on people or on their lives. So and I never made the connection before tonight. That's really interesting because I tend to hold back a lot before I feel as if I'm intruding on somebody else's life. And sometimes people perceive it differently. Sometimes they perceive it that I am not interested in their lives or whatever. Oh, yes, Mellow Roll ice cream. I used to love the chocolate Mellow Roll too. Mellow Rolls they used to have a cone, and the cone it looked like a rectangular top. And the Mellow Roll was about that long, and it was a roll of ice cream, and you would peel the paper off and put it in the cone. Oh my God, it was so good. It was so good. Oh, I loved that stuff. Hot fudge sundaes. Yes, oh my God. Such good stuff. Just bear with me for a minute. Give me just a minute. Okay. Okay. Um, where was I? I think we were talking about food. Food is one of my favorite subjects. I told you about that wonderful Persian. He can't stop talking about the color tabs. Yes, that's absolutely true, Sandy. Sandy was talking about the colored dots that came on a long sheet of paper, and you would eat the dots off the paper. The problem was that the paper came off with the dots, and you'd be eating more paper than dots. It was really funny. There also was um, these things that were shaped junior. I love junior mints to this day. I have to. Yes, I bought one of those not long ago, Patty. Patty was talking about the junior mints. If you buy them in the movie theaters here, I bought one. I don't know, maybe last month. It was $4.50 for a box of junior mints. So I said I'll never do that again. So what I do now is I go to the Dollar Tree. They have the same box of junior mints for $1. Dollar instead of 4.50. Crazy. So yeah, but I loved all that stuff. And does anybody remember the yes? Does anybody remember the little waxy bottles that they used to have that had some kind of very sweet liquid in it? Uh, and you would bite off the top of it, and then you would drink the liquid out of it, and then you were left with this waxy thing. And then they also remember the wax lips, the big lips that you would. It had a thing to bite on, and you'd have those big lips. But they also had this other candy that looked red hots, right? I used to love jujubes. It was shaped like a Coke bottle. You're right. It was shaped exactly like a Coke bottle. I love that stuff. When I think of what I did to my body from an early age, I ate so much garbage. I really did. I also used to love the hot dogs with mustard and sauerkraut. You loved Red Hots. I have to tell you, today, I really love Skittles. I really do. I enjoy those a lot. It's one of the newer candies for me that I really like. I had some the other day. They must have brought in the candy from the trick or treating that they had left over when the kids, I guess they had it left in their homes and they didn't want to keep it. And I took one of the small bags of Skittles, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did. I'm so easy to please. Yeah. You broke a tooth on Skittles? Oh my God. Oh, that's, yeah. I sort of I sort of bite into it, but sort of gingerly. So yeah, it's good. It's good though. I like that stuff. But there was this other candy. I don't remember what it was called. It looked a little bit like peanuts in the shell, except it was sort of the shrimp color. Tootsie Rolls, exactly. They did. Yep. When I was talking about the jujubes used to stick to your teeth. I can still feel it when I think about it. And then there was the other kind of candy that was similar to jujubes, but it was called something else. I forgot. That's funny, Ange. It's 4:30 in the morning and you're hungry. What flavor was which? Which one are you talking about, Patty? Are you talking about the things that look like peanuts? When you bit into it, it was almost soft, very sweet. How can I describe the taste? Um, I don't remember the exact taste, but I loved them. I just loved them. They were soft and chewy and sort of a pinky shrimp kind of color. Not peanut butter. No. No, in those days, I don't think I would have liked anything peanut butter. Not toffee either. It was just this pinkish, sweet circus peanuts. Circus peanuts. That might have been it. Hi, Mary. I need to know, I need an update from you. What's happening? How is he doing? Um, Circus peanuts. That sounds very familiar. I will. I will. Thanks a lot, Sandy. Um, I have to tell you, since I started that shaving my face, I always feel like I have a 5 o'clock shadow. Yeah. Is there anything that you can share with us, Mary? Candied peanuts. Yeah, I also, come to think of it, I think, what is it, honey peanuts? I forgot. Honey roasted peanuts that I get at Trader Joe's. I haven't been there in a while. Beer nuts. Wow, all the good stuff. I really love all that stuff. I'm a sucker for any kind of garbage food. I really am, and it's so not good for us, especially now. They have brown sugar on them. Lance has an appointment with the oncologist on the 15th. The consensus of opinion is he should have 3 to 4 months chemo, going old fashioned hardcore, original chemo before the surgery. If that's the consensus, they're probably right. How is he dealing with it? He's at MD Anderson now, is he, Mary? It's so hard. It's so hard. I have to tell you, every time I have a down moment, I think about in how much better place I am than I was a year and a half, 2 years ago. You can't put a price on that. He was there for 4 days. Oh, so he's back in LA now. Oh, okay. And are you in LA or are you back home? It's just so hard. Hi. Yeah. You're with your daughter too. I'm glad you're all able to be together. That's good. That has to help. Is he keeping, is he keeping positive thoughts, or is he able to kind of hold on to, I don't even know what to call it, be able to control his thoughts? Because it's hard. It's really hard when you're at that kind of a stage. I have to tell you, I have constant pain that is a reminder of those days. But for the most part, honest to God, I hardly ever think about it anymore. I really do. You're going to stay there through Thanksgiving? Oh, he is very positive. Wonderful. Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so happy to hear it. Did you like MD Anderson? Did he like the doctors there? Because I think having the right people to treat you with anything, but especially with cancer, is so important. I mean, I started out with a terrible experience medically, and I am so grateful that in the end I had the best doctors. I really had the best doctors. It was just so good. Really was. I'm not sure about Thanksgiving. It's interesting because I really didn't have any plans for Thanksgiving. Um, Last year, I think, or the year before, at the last minute, Linda had invited me to go with her to her brother's house. I felt a little, well, I mean, I couldn't do it anyway because he has an unusual house with a lot of batteries going. Aw, okay, I'm glad you were able to join us, Ange. Take care and have a good night. He was very impressed. Oh, good. Surgeon said go home, back to work, and come back in 3 months. Yeah, okay. Um, yeah. Oh, so for Thanksgiving, I couldn't go whenever, well, last year, I guess it was, because he's got a lot of stairs outside his house. There's a doctor in Stanford who may do the surgery. Oh, good, good. It just has to feel like the right person, the right physician, the right group. As I say, I got incredibly lucky with my surgeon, my surgical oncologist, with my plastic surgeon, and even with the gynecological team that they had that did the hysterectomy at the same time. So makes all the difference in the world. Anyway, back to Thanksgiving. I I, I got invited last year, as I say, kind of last minute, but he's got 2 flights of stairs outside of his house, and then more inside, so it was really difficult. I could do it at this point, but I'm not 100% sure, and I've not been invited anyway. So last night we were talking about, I may, he asked me if I wanted to go with his kids, and I wasn't, I just wasn't 100% sure, maybe because of the way it was presented. At first, if you're not doing anything, would you want to? I don't know. But my guess is I probably will wind up doing that. Okay, Mary is saying if chemo doesn't work, they may send him to the National Institute for Health in DC for. Dodotate treatment? I don't even know what that is. I've never heard of that one. I don't know. But listen, he's getting really top people to ring in on his, you know, on his case. Well, hello, Denise. Um, yes, back to Thanksgiving. So I probably will go with him. I'm thinking with them, with the family. I have to tell you, they have a really nice relationship with each other. They really care about each other. And I think that's such a wonderful thing to see. I really am very impressed by it. So it's nice. I'm guessing I'll probably do that. I did get a call from the social worker a few days ago before I knew about this, telling me that one of the local restaurants was doing Thanksgiving dinner and they were making deliveries for Thanksgiving dinner, which I thought was so nice. So I thought if I stayed home, at least I would have an actual Thanksgiving dinner. Couple of years I went to this diner that we go to that has really good food. And the food was not only delicious, but I think I had enough food for 3 more meals after the meal that I had there because they give you so much food. I would obviously wouldn't be doing that this year anyway, but it was a nice thing when I did do it. So, yeah, it will be nice if I'm not alone on Thanksgiving. The funny thing is, I spent so many years alone and never, I thought about it, but it was a nebulous kind of thinking about it. It was not anything I focused on. I just got through the days or did whatever. Exactly. Exactly. I have to tell you, Patty was saying she likes to eat out on Thanksgiving because, she doesn't have to cook. I found that when I cooked Thanksgiving dinner a few years ago, that it wound up costing me much more than if I had taken us out to eat. Mary is saying he had genetic testing at UCLA and is positive for a SDHB gene predisposition to adrenal and thyroid cancer. Sloan and I were tested too. I'm positive as well. She's not. That's interesting. Okay. Um, okay. So, yeah, it's amazing what they can tell now. Last year, I found some tasty chocolates at Lynn. You're right, Myra. Oh my God, was that a year ago already? No, I think that was that Thanksgiving or was that Christmas? I think that might have been Christmas. Oh my God, you're right. I need those chocolates. I forgot all about them. Oh my God, they were the best. Those chocolates were the best. Those were the Van Lees truffles. OMG. They are to die for. I picked a few of them up as I was headed back from the kitchen. At one point, I popped one in my mouth and I said, "What is this?" It has a dusting of chocolate over it. I had totally forgotten about that, Myra. Um, it had a dusting of chocolate on it. So I don't know why. It looked pleasant enough, but it did not impress me. But the minute I popped one of those in my mouth, I was a goner. I was absolutely goner. It's the best. All right, Mary is saying the genetic counselor was astounded that Mary hasn't had any issues. They usually appear before you're 40. The doctors think Lance has had this for 20 years. Wow. 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 Did I hide any from myself? I never got those chocolates. I got, I had them then, and I was going to get it, but I never quite did it. They have them on Amazon, and they're they're just unbelievable. Wow. Wow. Maybe I should tell David to get me that as a gift. I never did get my birthday gift. That was my fault, not his, because he offered me, you know, to pick out what I wanted, and I wasn't sure what I wanted, so I didn't pick out anything. So maybe, yeah, that really is amazing. The what is available to us now medically is so different than it was just a few, well, just a generation ago, let alone going any farther back. I think I'm going to have to end this soon because I'm getting a headache. I am getting a headache. Literally 1 in a million people have that. Parang, parang, paraganglioma. Paraganglioma. Very little known about it. It's not common enough to study. Wow. Um, yeah, and that, yeah, that was one of my issues also with sarcoma, because there are so few of those compared to the carcinomas, that there's so much less research in that area compared to the others. They put the money where the biggest issue is or are. But God bless him that he has the attitude that he does. That really will serve him well, because it's not an easy road. It's just not. God bless. Wow. I was just thinking of that woman in England again, the one that they discovered that she had a terminal brain tumor. So I'm hoping that they're wrong, or that something can be done to extend her life, because once again, everything else is meaningless when you think about things like that. So it is what it is. Yes. Um, Let me think. Anything different? Same makeup. The eye makeup is a little bit different today, only in the sense that I came across one of the old Stila Magnificent Metals, I think it's called, and I have a little bit of that on, which by now is kind of looking streaky because, oh, I did put my primer on. I need primer. Um, the lipstick is, no, I just, I used a pencil and I then filled in the sides with a pencil, and then I used, I think it's a L'Oreal, might be $7.99, the color. It's a light color for the middle, and that's about it. Nothing special. Thanks. Yeah, no, nothing special. So I'm, yeah. And again, the rest of it is once again, for the line of demarcation that I use for my contour. It is it is Palm Beach, and it is NARS. It's that stick, and I have that for a very long time. It probably will last me the rest of my life. That thing was incredible. It really, there's a lot of stuff in it. And that's about it. Nothing else special. So it is what it is. Okay, on that note, I am going to, what is this? All right, Mary's saying the high blood pressure is a symptom, rapid heart rate. He had a hypertensive crisis when they biopsied it, released all the hormones that affected his system, even had a gout attack in the hospital. He has really been through the gamut. He really has. God bless him. He definitely will remain in my prayers, all of you. So do keep us apprised of what's going on. I know you don't always have time, Mary, but when you do, let me know, because or let us know, because I certainly hope that his ordeal is over soon and that he's in a much better, place medically. After the biopsy, he was in the hospital for 10 days. Yeah, that's quite incredible. Yeah, it is going on a long time. It really is. It's tough. It's tough. Okay. Does anybody have anything else they want to talk about? Otherwise, as I say, I'm going to end it today. Um, yeah, I mean, you know what it is, Myra? When they make a determination that the best thing is not to have surgery right away, but to have some other protocol, because it has a better chance for a better outcome. It feels as if everything gets so delayed, but it really needs to be. And I know in my case it was important because whatever that radiation did, poo poo poo, it made a difference. So yeah, they have all the experience in the world with this stuff. I'm so glad too. I'm really so glad that you did. And I should be, barring anything unforeseen, I should be back on Sunday to do another one. Yeah. So the next few days should be crazy busy. I have so much work to do in this house. I wish I could be Samantha for just a few minutes and twitch my nose and make it all done. Or better still, make it all go away. Okay. Take care, everybody. Have a good night. I love you all. I'm so glad you came on and joined. It has been too long. It really has. And I apologize for it. It's just been really hard for me because not only am I busy, you too, Mary, not only am I busy, but there are times when I'm so stressed that I just can't get past the stress. So take care, and I'll see you on Sunday. And if I can get any of those other videos that are already there up and loaded, I'll have that on as well. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful night. See you. Yes. God bless.